This video is part of the Great Unboxing!
Hello everyone, and welcome to this unboxing video for
Reich Busters Projekt Vril,
a miniature board game made by Mythic Games that is easily summarized as, from what I can tell, Inglorious Bastards, the board game, aka Go Kill Nazis. Yeah. Now, I would read off the blurb on the back, but there isn't one. Just more images. So, I've got, to my knowledge, all the game components for this, including a couple aesthetic components, but those will be for other videos. This is just the core game, which to my knowledge is as is. This, I don't know if it has any Kickstarter exclusive stuff, because there is a box that is just for all the stretch goals. There might be one thing in here, like one character that was Kickstarter exclusive if you ordered the Kickstarter version. But we'll see. But yeah, so Nazi killing the board game. And by the image on the back, like, these aren't like normal Nazis either. It's got some normal Nazis in there, but it's primarily like if their occult program, you know, was more than just a bunch of madmen and actually went somewhere. Like a lot of augmentation, experimentation. There's one expansion that is aliens, whether or not that's just meant to be separate from the Nazis or working with them. But it definitely reminds me of a lot of the characters that were along with Captain America in his first movie, like the kind of people you can play as. But it is also a mission-based game. I don't know if it's campaign or if it's just individual missions. This was definitely one of those games that I went, this looks cool, looks like it'd be a lot of fun to play with my friends, because killing Nazis. And here's the rulebook. Otherwise, it is, to begin with, boxes and some dice. So, let's take a look at those dice real quick. Got 2 bags of dice, and then just piles of cards underneath. We've got a bag of black and red dice. All of these are 6-sided, but none of them are standard 6-sided. One of the black ones have 2 blank sides, a singular star, 2 stars, 3 stars, and then this specific looking star. Then the red ones are slightly similar, except instead of stars, they have almost radioactive icons, and it's 1 blank, and then just like the other has one of its symbol, 2, 3, a starred version with the same thing on the inside, and then it also has what I'm guessing is an alert icon. There are 8 black and 3 red. So let me close this back up and get it out of the way. And then we've got 6 white and 6 green, also 6-sided, but not remotely standard. My guess is the other ones that I just showed off were the enemies, and these are the heroes. This might be an awareness die. It's actually very similar to the other one, the red ones. It's 1 blank, 2 ones, a 2, a 3, and then just like the others, a star with that symbol. Although that one's a little different. And then we've got what is probably a more armor or defense die, which is exactly like the black die. It's just these icons. It's there's 2 blanks, a 1, a 2, a 3, and then the star. And again, there's 6 of each of those. Okay, that's cool. Unique dice are always preferred over generic dice, which I have plenty of and always love more of, but it's just like, just tell me to grab those then. Alright, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4 packs of cards, and there's cardboard well underneath this. All of varying sizes. One of which being squarish and the same size as the tiles from Betrayal on the House, Betrayal at the Haunted House. Then we've got some longer, almost tarot-sized cards. I'm assuming these are the character cards, because that's what this one looks like. Some standard-sized cards, and some smaller cards. Let's start with the small ones. Stupid vacuum seal. At least it's got enough excess room that I didn't feel like I was going to scrape anything with my knife there. Alright. Oh, okay. So, first off, we've got some, I'm guessing, alert cards, because they have a bullhorn on the back. They're all very similar on the front, with various different things. I'm guessing these are literally the deployment cards, and then every round there's some bonus, because they do say different things with something up at the top, and then what I'm, again, guessing are the deployment on the bottom. And they have a number in the middle, all ranging from 5 to 10. So I'm guessing that's once the alert level gets that. Or something like that. Again, I'm making pure assumptions. I have no way. I have no idea how this game plays. Then we've got, I'm guessing, the lesser alert cards. Because same icon, except not. Because it's not all red and blurry and stuff like that. And they, yeah. So these are definitely more like, hey, the alarm has not been blared. They range anywhere from 3 to 8 as well, so it looks like the number doesn't result in it. But like, they also have different things. These seem like much more simpler effects and less spawn lots of things. Then, oh, okay, nope, here are the spawn cards. The other one might say draw spawn cards, because it's blatantly spawn cards. It's on the bottom. Haha. It's on the top, on the front. And these seem very similar to a cross between Shadow over Brimstone and Zombicide. Where it's just like, here are these different things. I don't know if that's like player count. It can't be player count because the game goes up to 4. This is a soloable game, by the way, which is always a drawing point to me. And I'm glad I got more soloable games because plague. People aren't coming over much, if at all. Nor should they be. And then the last of the small cards are, my guess is wound cards? Yeah, because they are all like staggered, messed up, sprained ankle, intense pain, and then has a bunch of other stuff on it. But are similar layouts to the alert, what I'm guessing are alert cards. Alright, then let's get to these middle ones. I wouldn't even call these middle, because one, there's 4 sets here, and I wanted to say medium, but whatever. These squarish ones, which look like, yeah, so these would probably explore things, like the explore decks, because the first one is like scientist deck, and it has a vital research. But then there's also covered corpse. These are actually the back of them. Vril containers, so I'm guessing Vril is then a substance. Cages, stage curtains, church altars, covered object, like covered generic object, not clearly a corpse. Office desk, and packing crates. Cool. And it's just, they're the same image on the front, they just have text with them for like what you find. So that's really interesting. I like that those are, like, it's going to be a little annoying for placing, but it's nice to have separate decks. Unless those are meant to be like, okay, this is the location, and you put them randomly where they are rather than have decks, which they would just go on the board. Then for some standard size cards, which are correct based on the back and the front, are ones that are used for the player characters, like they get their own unique cards. I don't think it's a deck. I think it's, oh wait, no, it's a deck. But yeah, so I'm just going to show off one of these because I'd rather save the character names for once I get to the stat cards. But it's got one that's, although this might literally be them. Yes, because this is an enemy, is my guess. So I'll actually go over them just in case. But we've got Brick, who's front and center on the box. It looks like, yeah, there's some basic stats on the back, summaries. Yeah, okay, so it looks like a character description on the front, but then a playable, like how they play, summary on the back. And then they all have a bunch of cards with them that have the character at the top. And some of them, like, be it like that or like that. I don't know what the double-sided ones are for versus the single-sided, and then they all have the same character on the back. So I'm assuming it's a shuffle draw, kind of like Nemesis. Then we have Claudia. And again, I have no context for what these cards do, so I'm just going to list off the characters. Quentin? Red Hawk? And I think all these characters were on the front of the box. And Sarge. None of these were the Kickstarter exclusive character. I'm guessing since I got the thing that came with all the stretch goals, I'm going to assume they threw it in that, meaning this is probably all what you would get if you got the game nowadays. And then we've got the tarot size-ish cards. I think they're a little bit too thin for tarot cards, but I could be misremembering. I haven't actually held or seen tarot cards in a long time. I just know that there's a lot of different card sizes. Lots of different stuff. So we've got a bunch of what my guess is different enemies. I don't know what the difference between so that was a little odd. So we have so I think I know what's going on here. This was a bit of a mess. So characters have multiple levels by the looks of it in terms of enemies. Gisnina Gruber is on one side and then another, but this one clearly has a what is probably, if wounded, flip. And the stats changed, so it wasn't like different language. Now, the part where this really threw me off was, this is what came off next. And I just thought it was a generic back, except that it was, here's the next character. The Vril Panzer, which looks like a dreadnought from 40K. And then realizing it had two sides on the other one. So, and I don't know how much that continues, but then we also have General Wolf. And then we have a bunch that just are one-sided, but I must be looking at this from the back first. So, we've got officers, soldiers, zombies, puppers, experiments 6XX. There's actually two of those. Experiment 601. Tracking bombers. 3 scientists. These are not the same. These are actually different versions. I like that. Strum Angriff and Strum Cannoner. Alright, so that looks like that's all the enemies of the program. But there's more cards this size. I'm going to just flip this thing over entirely and assume that was the back. Then we've got summary cards, with a bunch of iconography on one side, and then an actual turn summary on the other. Always love those. I don't know what these are. Raid Faction on one side, and then they all have different things listed on the other with a long stream of things. Then there's the various missions, because like I said, I knew this was mission-based, whether or not it's scenario-based, so they have mission on the back, but they look very similar to the raids on the front. I'm guessing raids are just, here's a more simpler, non-scenario-based, and then here's the actual scenario-based. Then we've got raid maps, literal map. It says see mission book page 20 through 23, and then I'm guessing objectives, raid objectives. We've got assassination, find the dossier, misinformation, and scheduled for demolition. They all look very similar. Cool. And then we have team cards, which I don't remember what these do, but I remember hearing about them. Doesn't help that Reich Buster HQ is just a bunch of blank slots by the looks of it. But then we've got a bunch of different things on the front, which I have no correlation, like Team Harrier. I can't even read these properly. The names are not in English, but the rest of the cards are. But it's Team Harrier, Team Vulture, Team Falcon, and Team Christelle. This part here is not in English. And I'm guessing this is bonuses based on which characters you choose. But I'm assuming are more roles, so that you don't need ones like new team cards for the expansion characters. So, we got 2 boxes here. I'm assuming of miniatures. I'm going to actually put these to the side for now. Oh, yeah, those are definitely miniatures. Because there is then a... rest of the box, a giant thing of cardboard punch-outs. This looks like it's both a terrain and a bunch of tokens. And there's 14 sheets here. Ugh. I don't think that's the most I've ever had in a game, but it's definitely high up there. It might be. I don't think I've had anything hit the 20s. Alright, plastic out of the way. Ah. Alright, so big ass locations. I don't know how much of a separator there is in terms of like spaces. It looks like it mostly have this and then the 2 spaces, but we've got a bunch of shield tokens and I'm guessing random ass supplies, a wound token, which is the only one that's the same on both sides. The terrain obviously changes, but then the tokens are different. They're still supplies tokens, but they're different ones. Then we've got more of that, and yeah, that's definitely the split lines, because there's, and so it's 3 spaces there. I don't know what's going on with the other one, but yeah, it's more shield and supplies tokens. Like, I don't know if those are supposed to be open rooms that you can just see into, or if they're closed and that's the roof. Oh, that's the ceiling or roof. Then we've got a big auditorium-like room. Same kind of tokens around it. Going on to a smelting factory. And then another theater-like auditorium. Reminds me of that video that I see a lot of from one of the Wolfenstein games. The recent ones. And more what look like exterior at first, but are probably interior, like lab experiments. And more of the same kind of tokens. Then we've got some smaller rooms. A hallway, a living room / den, and what looks like a storage room with actually some different tokens. The guns, they're the black on one side, and then they're white on red on the other, and of course, the rooms change. I don't want to start listing those ones off because they were already falling out, so I just want to put that down. Then we got some more tiles that look pretty much the same. In fact, the one right here looks exactly the same on both sides, in fact, from the previous one, with bullets and smoke canisters in the middle. Then we've got some exit tokens, some more hallways, some hatches, which are the same on both sides by the looks of it, a barrier, which is only numbered on one side. I did get the 3D terrain because it came for free with the all-in-one deal. And yeah, it's just the different biome. And then this is practically the same, but I'm assuming this is spawn locations, which is the same on both sides, and otherwise it's exactly the same. It's even a number 3 barrier. Then we've got some more rooms, some more of the same kind of tokens, bullets that are also smoke on the same side, a number 2 with it also then says Reich Busters on the back. I wouldn't be surprised if that's to randomize player order. These target enemies, I'm assuming, or maybe generic enemies, are the same on both sides. And then the rooms, one of which turns into what looks like a submarine room, and I'm guessing Vril storage based on that one card, and more hallway stuff. And one of them is the entrance, like start. Oh, no, there's another entrance. And very similar rooms, although one of them on the other side turns into a morgue, and the other one turns into an occult room. Then we got more tokens, which again mean nothing to me in terms of what they specifically are, but these look like barriers. I'm guessing these have to do with spawn stuff because that's kind of what was on the spawn cards, more supplies, and then these are question marks on one side and exclamation on the other. Wouldn't be surprised if that has to do with the whole alert thing. Another sheet that's very similar to the last one. What looks like various alert level kind of things. Cross hallway. Some locks. Some status effects. Yeah. A couple other tokens in there. And then more status effects. And then actual equipment. Because equipment is tokens in this. More alert levels and hallways. So that was all of those boards. Let me just get this back in here real quick. Yeah, lots of that. Let's organize that in my own time. Haha. Alright, and then on to the meat of the game, because it is a miniatures game. These are labeled core box, 1 of 1 and 1 of 2. So let's start with 1 of 1. Slides out nice and neat, so not a real big mess. have seen pictures of these miniatures a lot. Like, some people got copies a lot earlier than I did. Don't know why, but yeah. So we've got some player boards, very similar to the Zombicide Black Plague ones. So they've got things that you put them in. I'm assuming the status effects go here. Supplies here, your character here, and equipment. 4 of them in total, because it's a 1 to 4 player game. And then we've got some miniatures. We've got the 6 heroes. So we've got a sniper. Ooh. If that's what I think it is, I'm already happy, because that looks like flamethrower. My guess was Sarge, so I'm guessing more leader character. I don't know where his cards are, but this is the Kickstarter exclusive for ordering the core game character. I don't remember his name at all. I don't know, maybe he's just a figure. I could swear there was cards with him too. The character that was front and center with dual chain guns. And somebody who looks more sneaky. So, other than the Kickstarter exclusive one, they were all there, but I don't remember the other ones were. Then we've got some enemies here. A scientist with a canister of some sort. Evil duder, and I want to say a wheelchair, but it's got feet, so crawling chair? That's really cool looking. I'm guessing super occultist. Again, I have no correlation between how these, like which ones these are and which ones they're not, based on right away. I think this was the zombie. I remember it looked weird. There's a second one here. The big ass dreadnought thing. Like, I had seen this before, so I knew like it looked like a dreadnought and wasn't just, oh hey, yeah. Like, yeah, it's big and messy, and that's weird, like, how this thing stores. So, how does this store? Okay, it fits better once you know how it goes, but, damn, that's weird, how that stores in there. So, it lays on top of the miniatures, the player boards, but the only thing holding it in place is the plastic lid. They don't sit in there on their own. Alright, and then the other miniatures box, or at least I assume miniatures box, because where's all the Nazis? Or all the rest of them is here. Oh boy, yeah, just a bunch gray. 2 trays in here in total. So we've got what looks like 3 more scientists, same ones as before, and 10 more of the same zombies, making it 12 in total for the scientists, for that matter. Then we've got heavily armored dudes. There's 4 of these. I really like how these look, although they do remind me a lot of Kador from War Machine. Then we've got 4 of these mutated duders. They look like xenomorphs, but aren't. They're just heavily mutated, have more weird-ass limbs. I don't even know if they're actually mutated or just have biographs on them. And then 4 of these little spider drone looking things. I imagine these were the remote explosives. What was that whole tray? And then the other tray has its own lid in between. We've got what, if I'm correct, are the officers. There's 4 of those. And some guys with heavy triple barrel chain guns. 4 of those as well. Also, 4 of the puppers. Poor little puppers. They're gonna die. Because you're still Nazi puppers. Then 10 of these. I'm assuming it was the other project thing, which they look like mutated dogs with canisters of crap coming out of their back. I'm assuming that's more of the Vril. Whee! Making Nazis do bad things and us not feel bad for killing them. Yeah! And then we have 16. Look all the same. Generic Nazi grunt. Ah. I'm gonna have to paint Nazis at some point. Not that Hellboy was already making me need to do that. Whee! So they look prettier when they're murdered. Ha ha! Alright, so that was kind of long-winded, but a big box of stuff. So yeah. But that is everything in this box. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to press that like button. If you think somebody else will enjoy, feel free to share this video. Either way, I hope this video gets seen more. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and press that dislike button. I won't mind, but please leave a constructive comment as to why. Also, feel free to comment in general, such as would you like to see more about this game in detail, be it a general component overview, which I would likely want to do first, or detailed component overview, or do you want to see any of this painted, particularly the characters, be that the good characters or the bad characters? Otherwise, I'm not getting around to this game anytime soon. I've got so many other things to work on. And if you'd like to see more like this, be it more unboxing videos, my board game overviews, my painting videos, which, like I've said, I'm willing to do all three for this, or anything else that I might do on this channel, feel free to subscribe. Regardless, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.